Yay. Oh, wait, that means people can hear me. Nice. I'll tweet out the episode. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I mean, no one's here, but no, maybe one person's here, actually. Maybe it's me. Now I didn't think about it because I'm not listening there with chat up. So, uh, but people will listen to the VOD, and the VOD will be like, hey, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I'm chilling, living my life.
I'm doing okay enough.
I respect that.
Nice. I finally, I don't know, I had two podcasts to edit, so I got that done. So now I can actually work on video stuff. So that'll be cool. Because I feel like I haven't done that in a minute. Kind of. That's a lie, but it's more about feelings than what I've actually done or not. So, um,
Craftsdwarf, I may not have seen that new podcast yet, but I'm going to go out there and say that's your best podcast yet now.
thank you.
Because I saw that Hot Boy Spicy said he's going to read Oshinoko because of
the incest.
I was about to say it, and then I realized that was a spoiler, so I was like, maybe I shouldn't say that.
Oh
but
shit!
It's kind of everywhere, though.
Okay, can we talk about that really quickly? Who the fuck didn't read chapter 1 or watch episode 1 and not have that be a thought that could pop into their head is probably the way it was obviously going the whole time. Like, hello?
I didn't think about it.
Not to say
but
it's
it doesn't.
cool
It's not a
or
turn
obvious,
off. Yeah.
but like, I thought it was obvious. Like, I really saw that first episode and I was like, oh yeah, okay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a seed in my like. I think at minimum with people, it should have been a seed in their mind of a possible thing that could happen. Because like I've thought about
weird incest where like people can be reincarnated as someone else, and the show doesn't want you to think it's like necessarily as weird that it's incest because there were people before. Because like he's definitely fucking weird for his mom. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, that too.
that's true. That's true.
Like it was there already from the beginning. Like if you didn't see it, I don't know.
And I feel like people have already auto-corrected the idea of him being into Kana. Because, like, he still is technically, like, that 32-year-old guy.
Plus another 16 years, so...
At this point in the manga, at least, they're 18. Like, Aqua and Ruby.
Then they could say 18 years.
Yeah, but also the 18. Yeah. I will say in defense of the idea of it, it's hard to count those 18 on top of like the 36, just because like I think the argument
linear, but
like the argument for why you culturally find is because you're spending more time around people of that age, and he in theory gets reset and had to go spend 10 years around fucking children. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, not to again defend the silly manga. It's like
no, this man's on the full defense force.
I thought it was clear, like I was not surprised. Like when I saw people freaking out about like an Oshinoko spoiler and being like, "Ooh, big spoilers for this thing in Oshinoko that everyone thinks is bad." It's like I could have like there's a reason Vegas didn't let me bet that shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, this is actually the only post-anime spoiler I know. So I guess good on the fan base for keeping it mostly on lock. And I honestly, I guess if people have a problem with it, sure. But I don't know. It just Mathos made a joke about Ori Emo where it's like because there's like a few year difference between the main two, so it's like problematic age gap, and it's like, well, this is like there's an even bigger age gap. Plus, you have like patient, doctor. Like there's a rank, sort of like authority difference there on top of everything, and this is what bothers people, I guess. So
yeah, obviously the fact that like he knew her when she was 12, and he was 32, and then grew up when she was like they grew up together, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make a judgment on her or whatever until I finish it, or until I read the manga.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people saying some interesting points about it's not what people think, and then obviously like it is a series that explores like societal taboos and like fucked up shit. So it's like this is also something that does happen in this kind of industry and this kind of setting. So I'm interested to see, because like I kind of skimmed like someone talking about how I'm guessing I'm gonna spoil you a little bit, Craftsdwarf, but I don't think it's that bad. Like it's not really a confirmed thing, but at least someone how someone interpreted it was just kind of like Ruby has been like gaslighting Aqua for a very long time and trying to take advantage of his like guilt for what happened to her in her previous life to make him want to be with her when like that's not actually what he wants. And like
Oh.
there's stuff about how like Aqua is probably more into Kana, and probably, you know, like just the fact that like even stuff we know of in the anime, him like confiding in her when he wouldn't for anyone else, and then also like sharing secrets with her of all people, even at the expense of like Ruby or his like eye stuff. So it's like it, you know, it seems like there's some interesting nuance there.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll definitely have that. I mean, yeah, the other comparison I was going to make was with Usagi Drop, which is also a series that's very fucking obvious about what it's going to do from the beginning, and that but the take is like, oh, enjoy the anime, and then never read the manga because like you know the whole premise is like he adopts the you know a girl who his you know it's like there you know there's a lot of layer like age gap. There's a they're like half siblings, I think, because like, or maybe it's a little more distant than that, but it's like, yeah. And then the ending of the manga is they get together, when she's an adult. So it's like you know pretty oof, but it's like you know I don't love Usagi Drop, but again, like I remember like going into the anime with that in mind, and I was like, oh, the writing's on the wall from just the content in the anime. So it's you know it's
Mm-hmm.
similar to what Vindy was saying. So and it just reminded me of that where people obviously like who don't care about that element going into the story and then getting that element when they you know would have probably you know no doubt preferred not to have it at all, right? So
Yeah,
or
I mean,
obviously,
I
if you
just
watch something like Or Emo, it's like, well, what the fuck were you expecting? You know? So, gasp, the sister and the brother got together in the end. Like, how could this be? Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I'm super interested in it, especially after having like I know this isn't entirely related, but like the reason why it's on my mind is like from ContraPoint's like Twilight video where like I just think it's interesting that like you know, she makes
Do you
a
mean
point in
Lindsay
that
Ellis's, or did ContraPoints
no,
make a Twilight video
ContraPoint's
that I
made
haven't watched?
one
Okay, gotcha. I haven't watched
recently.
that one.
Made one
Oh.
recently,
It was look, I think it's better than Lindsay Ellis's, I'm gonna be honest.
That's fair. I didn't know about it, so.
Yeah, but like she talks about like one of the points she brings up is just like how, you know, fiction obviously allows you to write about controversial and even socially taboo things, and that shouldn't be like dismissed or, you know, stifled or like, you know, shunned away from, because ultimately it is a safe space to like explore these kinds of ideas. And it is like a better alternative to like either acting it out in real life or you know, yeah, any kind of like real life alternative to it, which like, you know, I think it kind of applies here where it's like the like Akasaka Aka is like free to explore like a problematic thing, especially because it seems like he's probably going to treat it as a problem and not as like a, you know, not glorifying it obviously.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, it makes sense.
Yeah. um it's fair if someone wants to stop reading the series or something, but it is ultimately like his manga, and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I guess the other thing that's been going on that I don't think we've talked about on the Weeb Club was you know, I mean I don't know how much we have to say about Toriyama, but
Yeah, I did think about that because like I I forgot that we technically didn't talk about it, and then I realized like, oh, I did just put Goku in the thumbnail and title. It'd be a little weird to just not bring that up at all. Like I wasn't thinking about it when I was making the title and thumbnail, but it's like now I'm like, we should probably mention that.
yeah, because yeah, I did my tweet you know about it, and I'm thinking about a video because I guess the premise of the video is I'm going through the Go-Go Akmon games, and also I've already watched the OVA, and I still need to read the one shot, and then I want to play Tobal number 1 and Tobal 2, because basically the idea being that like so my history with Go-Go Akmon is like last year or so I when they were uploaded to CD Romance, that's when I found out about them, and I was just kind of surprised because like I'd obviously known about Toriyama since before I really knew about anime or manga in a sense, or at least I was familiar with I've been familiar with Dragon Ball for so long that seeing his art style on a video game series that I'd never heard about before made me just go like, what the fuck? Um, like it'd be like if Oda had done like a 5 volume manga that I'd somehow never heard about and
Mm-hmm.
only found out about last year, right? Just the absurdity. And then when I was looking up stuff for the video, I found out about Tobal 1 and 2. So the idea is to sort of like play these, relatively speaking, obscure Toriyama things and talk about them and highlight them. And there's a bit of a narrative there, because I'm also going to at least bring up basically most everything he's worked on, and with some personal like, oh, if you want to hear me talk about Dragon Ball, here's the Nen show where we did like 8 episodes talk about the original Dragon Ball and a couple episodes for Super. Just sort of, and they recommend maybe for Dr. Slump, consider reading a chapter a day instead of if you're not into it, just because it's not really a binge series. So just giving some of my perspective there. But yeah, I don't know. Because I'm just because I'm still working on Aikatsu video, but that one's more it's like 1 or 2 minutes edited out of like 11 or 12. So but I'm just kind of putting on a hold to do, because the Toriyama one tribute feels like it's more I need to get it out there sooner rather than and I've already done the tribute with the KyoAni one a while back. So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like out of character, I guess. So,
I
but yeah,
mean, that
no,
sounds
it's
fun. I'd never heard of that, so I'm sure a lot of
yeah,
people
okay,
find out
that's
for the
that's
first
what
time.
exactly that's kind of what I'm hoping to do, because and also bring up like some of the short manga, because I read like Nekomajin Z and Kajika years ago, and I could like say reread them, but I think I might even mention in the video how I kind of don't like, even though I am going on my way to check out some Toriyama stuff that I haven't before, I'm not in a super completionist mood about it, because like I want there to be some stuff later for me, right? If I feel like it, because if I just like, oh, I'll go through everything, because that's the thing, that now there is an end to things Toriyama's been involved in, right? Like I think, as some people have been talking about, how like Dragon Ball Daima and Dragon Quest 12 are going to be like basically the last things in those franchises that had involvement from Toriyama, right? So like whenever we get Dragon Quest 13 or the next spin-off, Toriyama's not going to have touched it. It'll have legacy designs, I'm sure, like obviously the slime, but
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know,
Yeah, that's
just
fucking
thinking about it.
crazy. Yeah, like obviously, I thought about with Super and Daima, because it was obviously like coming
Hmm.
out, and but like yeah, I didn't think about it with Dragon Quest. Like yeah, he's just not gonna draw the designs.
Yeah, and I know Vindy started watching Dragon Ball.
I have as well. I have 1 episode left in the Pilaf saga.
Wow. Oh, how long is that?
Uh, like 13 episodes.
13 episodes. Okay, that's pretty good.
I downloaded so part of it is like I had been trying what we talked about last time on the Weeb Club, where when I get home from work and I'm trying to like de-stress, I've been turning on an episode. And what's also been helping is I downloaded a dual audio sub, because I feel like I'm
Yeah.
constantly questioning, should I watch Dragon Ball dubbed or subbed, because I feel like dubbed has such a large cultural, like it's such a massive cultural touchstone here, right? Like all the dubbed
Hmm.
voices for all those characters. But like I think similarly, just not as much here in America with a lot of the subbed voices, right? And I prefer the subbed voices for Dragon Ball, but it's so long and I'm so bad at watching anime if I'm just sitting there only watching it. So I feel like what I've been doing is, and I thought it would work, and it kind of has been, is I'm doing it dual audio. And if I'm like really having a struggle to pay attention, but I'm watching it dubbed. And then if I'm watching and I'm into it and I'm paying attention, I just switch it to the sub. Which I
Okay.
know this sounds psychotic, but like it's working. And here's the thing: I plan to probably try and watch like all of the Dragon Ball anime like this. I will still get dozens of hours both in dubbed and subbed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I'm not worried about it. I'm sure I will do way more subbed when I get into the arcs that I really like. You know what I mean? And I'm really like dialed in,
Hmm.
during like
Yeah, there's no way you don't watch fucking The Death of Android 16 with fucking dub because in the background, right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. When I start getting but when, yeah, there are times where, especially to get through Red Ribbon, like if I really tried to sit there and watch all of Red Ribbon, I don't think I have that dog in me, you know?
yeah.
but I could throw it on dubbed and be paying attention. It's on like a monitor that's in like it's in my vision at the exact same time as, you know, my other screen. So I'm seeing both. I'm paying attention. I'm just, you know, not fully watching. But I've also read Dragon Ball before, and you know.
Yeah, it's not like you know, the only thing you'd maybe like want, you know, anime original content is where you'd want, or
Well,
stuff where
which I feel like
they changes.
it's hard to not miss stuff, and I have the ability to pause a game, especially because like I'm like playing like almost all like RPGs and shit I can pause right now. It's easy to pause something to catch what I missed, you know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and then you won't get like a full opinion, but you'll at least get like neat partial general, like, because I mean that's all you really need is a general opinion on you know, because especially depending on what dub you, or is it, do you know what dub it is? Because I know there's like, because I've been seeing clips being
I don't know.
passed around between like the original Dragon Ball dub that would have, you know, aired on television like when I was watching it, then the Dragon Ball Kai dub, and then comparing that to the like you know, basically
Well,
comparing
did
to
original
them to each
Dragon Ball
other.
get another dub?
That I don't
Because
know
I'm watching,
because
yeah, I'm on original Dragon Ball still. So
gotcha.
So I mean, technically, yes. Like the movies specifically, like if you watch the movies dubbed, they'll have a different voice than the animes. Like the anime series is dubbed, which is unfortunately like those movies sound very weird. The ones that have like different dub voice actors.
Okay. And I don't know, the clips I've seen,
Yeah.
one of them was Frieza commenting about how Goku's shoelaces were untied, and he's like, I don't even have shoelaces, and I'm like, that definitely wasn't the original dialogue. And the other one was like Yamcha talking with Bulma randomly seeing a cat food commercial, which was apparently also done. Like people were talking about how that was referenced in Dragon Ball Abridged, and just a general observation of like, yeah, a lot of the Dragon Ball Abridged jokes are literally just references to the dub that, you know, wasn't really a faithful translation necessarily. So I don't know, just, you know, so I don't know what you're getting into, Vindy, because you might hit a point where it's like, holy fuck, this dub is awful, because I feel like the original Dragon Ball isn't going to have that problem as much because it would have been dubbed later. I mean, okay, there were early dubs, but I'm pretty sure they weren't complete because they weren't successful.
Luna says it's the well-known Funimation dub, and I got the torrent from him. And then I will probably watch Original Z instead of Kai. I've been thinking about it. I might change my mind, or like if I ever rewatch it, watch Kai. But I think I might just go for the original.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Just
because
go with
my
the color.
well, because so I'm already watching One Piece, kind of. I haven't watched any in a little while, but it's already on the docket. Naruto, I've also been, because I just talked about Boruto. We finished the Boruto manga on the Nen show, and we talked about it, and I've talked about how I basically want to watch the entire Naruto anime, like I am with One Piece, where I'm watching the entire One Piece anime, and then also rewatch Boruto. Um, Another recent thing is that I didn't know about this, but Alexander posted about it, and I saw some other tweets because I didn't know that the same composer who did the Bleach soundtrack also did Evangelion and like some of the Shin movies. So like Hot Boy Spicy during our Bleach discussion mentioned a theme, and I went to listen to it, and I was like, oh my god, the vocals, like it sounds like it could be in one of the rebuilds or in one of the Godzilla movies. Like it was. Let me find out which one it was. Uh, Treachery was the Bleach soundtrack. So now, like, I already wanted to watch it because I'm curious as to like, you know, what does it do well? What does it change? What's the anime original content like? Even though I know, everyone says don't watch the Bound arc. The Bound arc is like universally called bad. Apparently, I'm still gonna watch it because of
Yeah,
a
it's the
mask.
only filler arc I actually know the name of because they mention it so many times. Aside from like the beach episodes, but I don't even know if that's like
Yeah,
an
those
arc name.
there's a yeah, and I'm aware of some other arcs, but I'm just kind of curious because especially because like Bleach is so like real good. I feel like as far as just anime original stuff, I feel like I could easily see it just having the least good stuff just because it's like, you know, Kubo's style is really, you know, not that obviously I think One Piece has a lot of iffy anime original stuff too, but it also has a lot of good stuff. So I'm kind of curious as to what the good stuff for Bleach looks like. But yeah, Dragon Ball is also another like long anime that has a manga that I already really like that I am curious about one day giving the anime a shot. And Yeah, I'll probably just like watch the original Dragon Ball Z and then watch Kai later. But I do one day plan on watching Kai. But first time through, I'll probably just go through, Dragon Ball Z,
Hmm.
Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. Then Daima will probably be out and finished by then, and then I'll actually do Kai at some point when I'm like, I feel like just watching more Dragon Balls. So
What sucks is like my personal preference would be to watch Z. It's just that Kai has the better voice acting, and if I remember correctly from what I've listened to, the better music. Um, but like obviously Kai doesn't have like all the filler. Even though like yeah, I know most people who like only experience Dragon Ball through the anime probably wouldn't want the filler, but like I have the manga, so like I actually would
yes.
like the filler to be there.
Exactly. Like that's kind of why I want to watch Z is because like this is the series that people fell in love with, like and it is it is different from the manga, and that's what I'm curious about, where Kai would be a little closer. So and then when I watch Kai, I'll be comparing it both to Z and the manga. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm definitely interested in it, but it's another time. Because I feel like I'm probably gonna end up watching Naruto next after One Piece. The question is just then, what do I do? I do Dragon Ball or Bleach first? Probably, I don't know, Dragon Ball, but because I'm rereading Bleach right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I did already watch Dragon Ball before everyone hopped on the wave. So like I could start watching Z right now, but I just want to finish other stuff before I think about doing that.
Yeah, that's my other thing is like, yeah, there's like I'm currently almost halfway through season 3 of Major, which I have watched. I think I watched the first season back in 2021. I watched the second season back in 2022, and I didn't watch any of it in 2023. So, and I'm hoping to watch the last 4 seasons this year, and then I'll still have Major Second, which has 2 seasons to go through at some point. But so yeah, I don't know. I just yeah. And I'm also I finished Fresh Precure, so I'm now 3 seasons away from finishing catching up to Precure, which is really cool.
Hmm. I
So yeah.
guess the upside for me, now that I'm thinking about it, is I would actually be watching Z subbed because I do think the audio quality is better than what Dragon Ball's audio quality is for that. So I kind of actually don't have to worry about like the dub changes and stuff. And like pretty sure with the subbed it has like the actually like the better soundtrack. So never mind, it's not an issue. I kind of forgot. When you guys were when Vinny was talking about it in particular, it just like tricked my mind into thinking I was gonna watch it dubbed when I wasn't. Because like I did watch a significant portion of Dragon Ball dubbed when I was watching it, but I ended up just switching over to subbed, and I just got used to the audio quality, even though it's not ideal. But with Z, I think a lot of that like restored stuff is up. I think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm definitely I don't know. Something I've mentioned it before, but just one thing I think about is just like having perfect or ideal versions available, but it's because like it's going to be the fans who deliver on that, and because Dragon Ball has a lot of different releases, and apparently a lot of them have problems. Uh, so another long anime that I've been thinking of is because I mentioned having the idea for the Pokemon, Pokemon
Yeah.
like thing, and going through Digimon at some point. The problem is that the best Digimon torrent is hard subbed, and the author talked about making a soft sub one, but it's not real yet. So it really sucks that, because I remember going through, oh wow, this torrent looks perfect. It's got all the Digimon series. They made it really high quality. And then it's like, oh yeah, but they're hard subbed, and it's like, I
Hmm.
want to take screen caps. And also, if I want to make videos, I want footage I can convert and have no subtitles. So, yeah. Um, uh, but yeah, how's your gaming been? Your Persona fucking bender. Your disgusting Persona. You're playing like what, 3 different
Uh,
Persona games right now? Um,
yeah, I'm basically doing, because I have to do a bunch of ones in the different series. Ultimately, I'm kind of just doing one of each in the different ones at a time.
mhm.
So I'm doing one of the real games. So I'm doing Persona 4 Golden, because I have to play that twice. So the way I see it right now, just to go through a checklist of everything I have done, or to explain it, I'm trying to get all the
Yes.
Persona Platinums. There's one I'm undecided on just because I think I would kill myself if I had to do it, but I would feel so bad to get all the other ones and not get it, and I'll explain it. But I got Persona 4 Dancings yesterday, so I knocked that one off the list.
Okay.
So dancing-wise, I have Persona 3 and Persona 5 Dancing. I have to do another playthrough of Reload, because even though you can get the Platinum in Reload, if you like use a guide or are really efficient, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't get all the social links, and I didn't do the super boss in my first playthrough. Partially because it wasn't hard. I think I'm gonna play it again. I might do it just on easy, just to
For the
breeze
achievements,
through the
yeah.
super boss, and then turn it to hard for like the DLC, or maybe even do the DLC on Merciless when that comes out, because that's when I'm gonna replay Reload. But then I have to do Royal another time. I have to do Golden twice. I have to do Portable twice, and then there's
Ooh.
Arena, Ultimax, 5 Tactica, and 5 Strikers. So the way I'm
Okay.
kind of doing it right now is I'm doing like 5 Strikers and 4 Golden on kind of like alternating days. Or one day I'm doing, because like Strikers, you just kind of do like 100% playthrough, and then you just mega grind it, because you have to basically get every character to like level 70 and then max out like this big separate like set of skills. So you just have to grind the fuck out of it. And then you just start New Game Plus on the hardest difficulty after doing like all the super bosses. So I think the way I'm just gonna do it is just like get to end game and then just grind, and then whatever, start New Game Plus after doing everything else, and then be done with the game and not even touch a New Game Plus run because I don't have to. And then playing just like a 100% golden run, because I have to do everything. And then to complete the compendium, there's some personas that you have to do in a late game New Game Plus run. So you have to actually play the game twice.
Right.
And it's also like recommended to beat Margaret, I guess. It's easier on like a second playthrough. So it is what it is. Like, it's just that game. But because of that, like, I wanted to get 4 golden out of the way right now. And I'm just kind of treating 3 dancing as like if I want to play something mindless, just grind it, because that trophy is also just a bunch of like grinding. So it's fine. I mean, I like 4 golden a lot. Strikers is fun, but there's sometimes I think when the Muso meets the Megami Tensei, it can be fucking stupid and really annoying, especially early game. It's getting better as I have as I fuse more Persona and I have more I can do. It's getting better, but at the beginning of the game and like the first jail, I was definitely getting fucked a lot, where I would get like hit with something that I was either weak to, or would like cause a status effect, and then get hit with a technical, and then I was just fucking dead, and I was like, all right, this is in my action game, really? But it's fine. The story's cool, and I respect that game is really trying to like capture, like, it's a sequel to P5, and it's really trying to capture like the visual style and feel of that game. Where like, like Tactica and the Q games like are a completely different art style, and then the 4 spin-offs, the story is like a visual novel. The 5 story, like the way it's like presented, is like the exact same as like 5's, where they're like, even our days you go between, and like the cutscenes look pretty similar. Just it's clear it's a little different because it isn't the same like studio making it. And a little bit more like in-game cutscenes, but like for the most part, like, they're trying to do Persona 5, and I respect that. And then the story's had some cool stuff in it, because it is definitely like trying to actually be a sequel in some ways, and like look at like, okay, well, this is what happened in the last game, kind of like Royal did, but in a different way, like, continuing that idea and actually taking it a step further than the original game did, and it's cool. I also think that the Persona spin-off games have they're weird, because like none of them are written as well, where the characters are all like really flanderized, and they're not as like nuanced as they are in the games, and you're missing features, and the it's all made like for the RPG and the life sim games, but they have this huge buff where the whole party's together from the start. You know what I mean? Like, it's so nice starting the Q games, and it's like, oh, all of the investigations team is here, and then C's shows up, and all of C's is there, and so the entire time, the whole party's there. Same with like the 5 games and everything. Like, it's nice not having to wait till 40 hours in to finally get like the last of the party member. You know, in 5, it's literally like 70 hours in to complete the party and be like, oh look, the gang's all here now. I can see what's going on. Actually, that's a fucking lie. In 5, if I'm being dead ass to actually have the whole party there, it's like 100 hours in.
Oh, that's like the end of the game.
Yeah, it's the final dungeon. It's
Oh my
100 hours
gosh.
in. It's like 115 hours in. If I'm actually being, if you look at the box, if you buy Persona 5 Royal and you look at the box and you say, I can't wait to have, and so the entire game you're waiting to have every single one of those characters in your party at the same time is like 115 hours.
That's funny.
So that's something that like the spin-offs like have such a buff of, you know what I mean? Like, especially because they're coming in where you're supposed to like the characters and know them already. So you just want to see them interact. And so just being able to pick it up and have, Yusuke there and Futaba there right away, it's like nice because I don't have to, play 60 hours of just, the worst members of the party.
Yeah.
Which is why when I replay, I think the other RPGs, I'm definitely just like skipping most of the cutscenes. I don't care. Like I've played 5 twice. I've played 4 twice. Maybe the cutscenes I like, the scenes I like, I'll watch, but I don't need to watch the 20
Bro's actually just in it for trophies. That's crazy.
I don't need to watch. I mean, when I get to my second Royal playthrough, I am not sitting there for every Morgana tutorial. The like 15 hours of tutorials that game has, I will be skipping them while watching a TV show. That's the thing, though. Okay, so that's the real problem. So those are all the games I have. The question is, because the 5 Royal trophy is a lot easier. It's just like all the social links and then most of like the Royal content, but you don't have to complete the compendium. Actually, don't think it's all the social links. I don't think you have to do that, and I don't think you have to complete the compendium. So I could do it a lot easier. The question is, do I want to play 5 2 more times to get the Royal Platinum and the base 5 Platinum? And
Oh my god, no.
Because the base 5 Platinum is actually hard, because you have to do like the Velvet Room Super Boss, and you have to do completing the compendium. So it would be like a shit ton of grinding, and you have to do all the social links. Like it's actually a hard Platinum. And so it would be another like 100 hours. I just don't think I could do that.
Well, the question I was going to ask is, so aside from platinum all the ones that you have on PlayStation or Steam,
no, it's all of them. It's all of the modern ones. So it's not 1 or 2, but it's everything that's come out since modern Persona. So since 3, essentially.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So for the ones that you aren't, are you still going to like at least play and beat them, like the Persona Q games and Personas 1 and 2? Are you still planning on beating them?
I'm playing because it's on my DS, and I'm just kind of like playing that randomly. But I don't think I'm gonna do everything. Like I don't plan to complete the compendium. I don't plan to.
Yeah, that's point. Because
if I start struggling, I'm gonna turn it to very easy, and I'll get to Persona 1 and 2 eventually. Part of me wants to wait because I want to see if they both finish the modern releases.
Right.
I would hate to play Persona 1 and then like a couple weeks later they're like, oh yeah, here's a modern release. So it's like, oh no, I can play it again for the fucking platinum. You know what I mean? Like at this point, if I have these little fucking trophies, I'd like to. So I might just wait just a little bit just to see, especially if 2's getting a whatever.
A remaster, yeah.
A remaster or a remake, whatever kind of in between it is in a couple years. Then I'll just like wait for that, and then at minimum play 1, then play the new version of that. You know what I mean? But we'll see. Maybe I'll feel differently. I also don't want to be stuck, and like I say I'm gonna play all this. I probably will take a break after Strikers and Golden, play something else, and then come back to it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be playing Persona for the rest of my life. So,
unlike me,
I will probably keep it to just modern Persona for right now, and then try to have that done, and then, I can pretend I'm cool.
Vindy, you actively make me even less interested in trophy grinding. Thank you.
Yeah, look, it isn't fun, but what it really is I'm just kind of using the platinums as a marker for seeing all the content in the game, because what really spawned it is like, especially like 4, it's like I was just using a guide to get like to do like 100% playthrough, but it like a platinum guide is the best way to do that. And doing it, it's like I realized there's so much small shit in this game that like I did not see my first time through. And I'm sure that there's a bunch of small shit in all the games in the series that I didn't see on my first or even with 5 probably second playthrough. So if I go in and I get the platinum and I see everything that the developers intend for you to see, right? If they made a little checklist, because like those platinums are fucking intense for like the Persona games. Like they actually care about that list and making sure that it's like things that are like indicative of a full playthrough of the game. You know what I mean? And so I feel like if I can go in and get it that and have the little checklist of like, if you want 200% this game, this is everything that they consider as part of that. Then I can see, then I can, be content that I've seen everything the game has, which like I'm not right now with any Persona game. So that's really what it comes down to is I like that series a lot, but like every game in it, I've seen like, sometimes larger fractions than others, but essentially a fraction of the content compared to what all is there. And so and I think that's the biggest reason that like I feel I care more about getting, I guess, RPG platinums or doing 100% in RPGs compared to like other games, because like a platinum in like Devil May Cry, while it's fun, is way more of just like or even Dark Souls is way more of like there is content behind it, but a lot of it's just you got to be good at the game and play it, and then do like
I was actually going to point out, because I've 100%ed all of the Souls games except for Elden Ring, which I just need one more ending, which I could easily get next time I play it because the DLC will be out. But I was going to say, because I 100%ing Dark Souls 2, I didn't actually experience all the content. Like, I literally didn't even do the third DLC. I like went in, got 2 spells, and fucking left. And I'm like, and later I thought about it, it's like, well, what's the fucking point of getting 100% if I'm not going to enjoy all the experience all the content? And so I have a checklist of when I go through all the Souls games again, I'm going to make sure to beat all the bosses. Like even Bloodborne, I was thinking about not doing the Chalice dungeons again, but I thought about it. It's like I might as fucking well.
Well,
which RPGs I feel like it's or like you're saying, yeah.
And to be fair, most of the Persona trophies, I think Portable might be the only one. I'm still not actually sure if I'm going to do that platinum, just because you have to play that game twice, because you have to do it once on FimC and once on
and after playing Persona Reload twice already,
and so I will probably do one Portable playthrough before I do my second Reload playthrough anyways, because I want to do one minimum to play FimC because it sounds really cool. But it's like, do I want to then do a second character where I then complete the compendium and do the Elizabeth boss again, where it's like harder and you can't cheese it with difficulty and like other stuff? Because like that's the thing about most of the like RPG ones is like even like the super bosses where like you have to do them, I could just cheat, like put the game on very easy and cheese it, and the game will still pop the trophy if I have to. So it's really just about like seeing all the content of the game at the end of it.
Yeah. But real quick to kind of update, because I have one more game I have to beat, and then I'll play a Persona 1. It's what was it? Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Survival Special, I think, which was a Game Gear game. Apparently, it's one of the worst games in the franchise. But I'll see if I can, because I have
the worst game came out before the series that would overtake SMT. Interesting.
One of the, because some other, Majin Tensei is also pretty disliked, even though I thought it was fine. I can see why people don't care for it, but if I go in knowing the issues, then I'm probably going to care less about them. The other one isn't translated. It's a Ronde. It's sometimes mistakenly called Majin Tensei 3. It is a strategy RPG, but it's not actually Majin Tensei 3. It came out on the Dreamcast, I think. It apparently looks very ugly and it's very bad, but it's not in English, so I can't actually play that one yet. But anyway, so because I beat Last Bible 3 and I had a good time with it, it's actually my favorite Shin Megami Tensei game so far. So I just need to play Last Bible Special, see if I even want to finish it or not. I'm taking a break because like I'm technically ahead of schedule because I think just going by because on how long to beat it was like 40 hours to beat Last Bible 3. I beat it in 25. So I'm just like taking a break to take care of some other stuff, and then I'll pick up Last Bible Special at some point. If not April, before then. And then after then, I'm probably gonna I'm gonna play Shin Megami Tensei and do one of the routes, or Shin Megami Tensei, Persona 1, excuse me, and do one of the routes, and then I'll probably wait until the PlayStation version comes out, and I'll do the other route. So that's my plan there. What are you laughing at?
Luna saying Game Gear game with a skull emoji.
I already played. Last Bible 1 was also on the Game Gear. So it's basically just Game Boy Color, but Sega.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Grim is like, I don't have a bunch of platinums. Like, I think the only ones I have are like all the Insomniac Spider-Man games, just because I feel like that's like mandatory if you play those games. Like, those are so fucking easy. It's literally just like play the fucking game and you get it. Like, actually. And then it's Assassin's Creed 2, which that one's a little bit of a grind, but that one was fun. And then I think Persona 4 Dancing, and that's like it. So
God damn it. I was like, what games do I have 100% achievements on? I was scrolling through my achievements, Steam achievement games, and you can just see all the ones you have perfect games for. And the last one is Hentai Pussy 2. I forgot about that arc.
What arc are you talking about, Craftsdwarf?
So you don't remember when we were all talking about the fucking hentai games?
No. Who is we? Craftsdwarf. Stop trying to implicate other people with you.
I fucking hate you all. You all suck and are terrible. Never mind. I'm done.
Going around playing hentai pussy. What the fuck?
This is the start of my Joker arc.
Oh,
I would. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's the kind of man who would play those games.
All right, what's been up with you, Nun?
Yeah.
So I mean, I started playing Yokai Watch because it's obviously one of the things that is related to quote unquote derivative Pokemon games. But obviously, Yokai Watch is not at all derivative. Like it's pretty unique. I'm liking it a lot. Like, I think the really big vibe that sets Yokai Watch apart is just how much you can tell it takes inspiration from kids anime. Just because, like, it literally structures the game as if it were, like, an episode of a kid's show. Like when you beat, like, the main, like, conflict for a given part of the story, it'll have, like, first of all, before it starts, it'll have, like, an episode title thing as if it were an episode, and then when you beat it, it says to be continued as if it were like the end of an episode. And it's really cool because it's like, I just happen to have watched some children's anime like Gutsy Frog, Creamy Mommy. It's not quite anime. I mean, it has some animation, but it has like some live action shit. What is it called? The one Egg, like the animated Egg, but I watched like the Netflix series. What is that shit called? Gudetama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot what the Netflix series is called, but I watched that. So yeah, like it's cool to actually play a game that's very much like predicated on that. And like I really love that it has like voice acting. It's really refreshing after having played so much Pokemon to see like how a game similar to it handles voice acting, and it's actually like really good. It kind of makes me interested to see when/if Pokemon will experiment with voice acting.
I definitely feel like it wouldn't hurt it, like they literally had voice acting in the trailer, but they didn't have it in the actual game. I guess the issue would be just like, because, there's a level of, I guess, because I wouldn't say it's stateless, Mukokoseki? I forget. I might have misremembered the words. But, it's, I don't know, because I think Shapes, and I've seen on Twitter people talk about how, like, early Pokemon has a lot of very, like, Japanese and regional jokes, where nowadays they've moved, they've made it very international, right?
Yeah.
Like, so just thinking about how, I guess, voice acting, because obviously they have different languages already in the game, and that's even part of the game when you trade it, catch a Pokemon in a French version and trade it out, right? And then there's the breeding method where if you breed two Pokemon different nations, the shiny chances increase. So I feel like I guess the thing about that, it shouldn't be an issue to include different voices.
I mean, the obvious only issue with Pokemon doing it, which like you know, you like I do think it'd be warranted if people were still upset at like them not doing it because of this, but it's obviously because they would want it to release at the same time in every territory,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
adding voice acting into the equation like makes it really hard to like accomplish that without
Mhm.
like delaying Pokemon's like release significantly. Which like they seem to be like slowing down slightly, but like they would have to slow down even more to an extent that I think they probably wouldn't want to take, at least in Pokemon's current state.
I mean, part of me just feels like that. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but in my brain, the writing of a game finishes sooner than the rest of the development. So in theory,
Yeah, like in theory they
um,
could make it work. It's just like another hurdle that I just don't see
yeah,
them
that's true. It
adding
would
to
add
when
more
they're already
development
struggling with
time, and
development.
that yeah, for sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, like the multiple dubs for each language. Like Pokemon has so many places it releases. Like there would be more dubs than the average game probably.
Yeah, it depends on what type of writing, right? Because I think, like localization gets done after most of the game is done. So, and sometimes that's, just as much writing as like the game kind of gets initially, right? Like they
Yeah,
end up
like
rewriting everything and translating it. And that can be done when everything about the game is completely finished. So,
I ultimately feel like realistically they could probably get like English, Japanese, Spanish, and like French, like the major languages, but like all those other like random languages and stuff that they have, not random as like other languages that they have.
Truly foreign languages
Yeah,
spoken by nobody.
all the other languages that they have, it's like I do think it would obviously pose an issue, to where they would either have to like they would have to compromise potentially to releasing in certain regions a little bit earlier, or delaying everything entirely for like the other languages and stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, I really like that Yokai Watch has voice acting. And it's cool that the Yokai Watch do talk. Like it's an interesting thing. Obviously that I wouldn't want Pokemon to take from Yokai Watch, but it gives them like a cool personality. Like one thing that I have wished Pokemon would like really try to do even more so in the games was just like making in like quote unquote insignificant Pokemon have more of a story to them instead of like it usually being around legendaries. Which like it could still do both. Like I don't mind the legendary thing. I just think like more of that vibe that the anime has where like it's perfectly fine and interesting to tell like a really interesting story about like a normal Pokemon. And like not that the games have never done that. Like I can think of instances where like, you know, the Kecleon you have to see with the thing in Ruby Sapphire, like that's kind of a thing. And then like Arvin's like that dog Pokemon thing that he's like feeding sandwiches to and stuff, that definitely counts. Like it definitely there's probably more moments that I'm thinking than what I can think of right now. I just think that like they could play that up more, like really lean into how the anime, like Pokemon's anime does it. I think that'd be
Mhm.
like interesting. Especially because like it came to mind when I played Sword and Shield, just like those open fields were so empty and so lacking in things to do that I felt like if they could somehow include like little stories of Pokemon or little like more little things to do in those areas somehow, that'd be really cool. Like a quest to meet a certain Pokemon and like learn about what's going on there or just something. I mean, it's a lot to ask for, but it'd be cool. And I do think Yokai Watch kind of does do that a little bit, at least so far. Um, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's cool because I know you asked for the list of games. I might have updated it since then, but yeah, no, cool. Because I don't know. I feel like as far because like my thing right now is like I'm guess I'm taking a leaf out of Shapes' book because he said he's working on trying to work on like 3 videos at a time, a shorter one, a more middling length one, and a longer one. And I kind of doing that too, except of course with as I mentioned earlier with the Toriyama thing and There's also another maybe thing that'll turn into a video, maybe not, involving some stuff I talked with Vindy about that. But yeah, so basically I'm working on like 5 videos right now. Technically, I want it to
Hmm.
be down to 3. I just need to finish stuff. Um, but I guess like right now my long video is the Shin Megami Tensei characters one. So after I finish that, depending on like maybe where I'm at with the One Piece anime or whatnot, like I don't know which one I'll start next for long videos, but it might be the Pokemon one. Which means I'll finish Pokemon games, do Digimon, and do a bunch of those other franchises. So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested because I'm interested in Yokai Watch. I'm interested in yeah, checking all those out.
Yeah,
So
it's
um,
genuinely cool, especially because like the designs really are like pretty unique. I haven't
mhm.
found any just yet that like I super love necessarily, but they are nice to look at, and obviously like their main like mascot one, not the ghost, which he technically is like also a mascot, but like their Pikachu, which is I
The
would say
cat.
Jabanyan the cat, yeah,
Yes, that's the one design I have it like locked in my brain as far as
yeah.
like yeah, Yokai Watch goes.
And it sucks though that like it's gonna be so much harder for me to know their like names and stuff. Like I've gone out of my way to not nickname my yokai just so I can hopefully like just know what the actual creature name is.
Important.
Yeah, because it's like with Pokemon, it's like there's the anime and there's so much. Like obviously, Yokai Watch is a multimedia thing, but I'm not experiencing it that way right now. And
Mhm.
they've obviously kind of fallen off in the West. Like as Luna's mentioned, they're not bringing over Yokai Watch games anymore, or at least not that remake. Like they're not bringing over as much stuff.
Yeah, well, because I think I remember, yeah, Yokai Watch 4, I think was the one. 'Cause there was an updated like version of it that I think Yokai Watch 4 is it was released in English, but not the updated version. If I remember,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm misremembering, but I just remember thinking that was interesting. Yeah, there's 4 plus plus which came out in 2019. That was basically the best version of the game, but it's yeah, people are talking about it with the English patch, or about it. There's an English patch, but like exactly because there's no official English release. Um,
Yeah, it
so
sucks
yeah.
because it's like I really do think Yokai Watch would have been interesting competition for Pokemon because like not necessarily even just from like uh Game Freak's lazy and they need someone to whip them into shape and beat them. I just mean like if they're both really big and really popular, they're obviously like Yokai Watch will take some things from Pokemon. Pokemon will take some things from Yokai Watch. Like it'll just be like a mutual thing.
Mhm.
I feel like. So like I do wish it would have succeeded more than it did. Not that it definitely is successful. Like it is notable. But I wish it like kept being as big as it was.
Uh-huh. Um, I gotcha. Um, Ombre asked me a question about Fresh Precure. Best Fresh Cure after Setsuna. I don't even know if Setsuna is my favorite. I might like love a little more. Um, but those two are definitely at top. Then Miki's good and Buki kind of exists, which is disappointing because normally I come away from a Precure cast liking everybody. But she just didn't have enough standout stuff for me. And yeah, Fresh was good. What was the other question he asked? Thoughts on the Mebius reveal. I mean, it was didn't feel particularly like noteworthy or worth like bringing up. It was good. Like he was a good antagonist. And overall the series was good and a solid Precure season. I really liked it. And yeah, the Setsuna stuff was good. The love it. I like yeah. Had a lot of fun with it and yeah, I'm watching Major right now, so but eventually I will watch what's the next one? Sweet Precure, which I know like literally nothing about. I feel like I've even seen less imagery from it. Like I feel like with Doki Doki and Happiness Charge, I could at least picture what the characters look like. Not that I can't with Sweet, but I just feel like I haven't seen that much about it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I don't know that even I'd say Assassin is my favorite like mid-season cure. For sure. She's good, but I don't know if she's my favorite. So, that's it. Oh, what's the issue with the Digimon subtitles? there's a torrent. There's a really good torrent. Hold on, let me find the one actually because it was on Nya. It's the um yeah, the 2DS torrent. Um by 2D Samurai. He basically made a really good torrent with all the Digimon Adventure stuff. But it's got hard subtitles. So like because a lot of them are stylized at times, but it basically just makes it it just it's got basically adventure, then Tamers and Frontier apparently, but there's a couple series that he didn't include. But yeah, it would be the best torrent if not for the fact that it was hard subbed, which I don't really appreciate, which is really unfortunate. So yeah.
I see. I see. One other thing I forgot to mention about Yokai Watch that is really cool too is like, and it's kind of obvious, but like it's something that's easy to like overlook a little bit if you don't like think about it. Just like obviously because it was made in a different era, it doesn't do the thing that Pokemon does, where like it's very much reminiscent of like at least the early games like of Japan before it was like super modernized, and like like the way the region looks is more simplistic, but like Yokai Watch is like more of like modern life, I guess. So it's like interesting as like like I guess like as a companion piece of Pokemon, because it's like more like of a modern like take on a similar-ish thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, did you ever look into Robopon at all? Because I remember you mentioned being interested in that one. Or are you waiting
Yeah,
on
I
that
mean,
one?
I'm gonna play it after I play Yokai Watch.
Oh,
So
okay, cool. Are you just gonna like play all the Yokai Watch games, or just or maybe not like literally every single one? Because there's like I think the second series in particular has like multiple versions. Like there's the two versions and then a third version kind of thing going on. Um, but
eventually, not necessarily all at once or like one after the other, but yeah, as long as I'm still enjoying it, I'll still be playing Yokai Watch.
okay, cool.
Like I'm probably like a lot with the Pokemon like games that are similar to Pokemon, like I'm just gonna kind of go in whatever order I just happen to feel like playing. No like set order, basically.
Okay. Um, trying. Yeah. I guess less of a big thing is I was just thinking about how so this last season I have watched very few shows. It's basically just been Precure and Super Sentai because they go on forever. But I don't know, next season like a bunch of shows start that are like so Uter Camp season 3, Hibike Euphonium season 3. I'm gonna watch Mission Yozakar Family, Mushoku Tensei season 2 part 2, Konosuba season 3. Um, Invincible, the second half is happening. Dark Side of the Ring already started, um, and so yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I just have a lot of airing shows going. So I don't know if I just brought up in case you guys were thinking of watching
Mm,
anything. Probably not because you guys hate seasonals, but I don't know,
yeah,
thought I'd bring it up
like
anyway.
this is probably the most I've just not even considered watching a seasonal. Like it's not even like, oh, seasonal's bad, I'm not gonna watch seasonals. I just actually have not even thought about it at all. Like I never even considered it.
Yeah, fair enough. And I mean, I'm only watching things that like, except for Yozakura, which is still an adaptation of a manga that I like. I'm only remotely considering stuff that's like connected to stuff I've already gone through or in some way. So, like sequel seasons. Yeah. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Um, well, is Vinny still here?
Yeah, I'm here. I just
Okay.
didn't really have anything to say.
Okay. Did you watch the 2012 Super Sentai versus Kamen Rider? I'm not sure what that is. Probably not because I don't think I've seen the 2012 Super Sentai or Kamen Rider seasons. So,
What does hard subtitles mean? Titania, to explain that, it's so soft subtitles are easier to explain first. It's when there is along with the video file, so it's attached to the video file, so you don't see it as a separate file, but it technically is. It comes with subtitle files that your video encoder will naturally see and put there. So that's where, like, when you to get your subtitles, you have to go to like a drop down menu and find subtitles and put them on. That means it's soft subtitles, so you can turn them on. Generally, people want that if they either are downloading something and potentially want to watch it without subtitles, like turn them off, or if you want to turn it off for screenshots or whatever. If you need the video file without the subtitles, but you want the subtitles there to watch with them. Hard subs, or if you don't care for whatever reason, your video player won't show the subtitles, and so you need them just on the video file. It'll have it literally just like hard, like basically watermarked on the video file, and
you can't take them on or off.
So the biggest problem with hard subs is it just means you can never take, if you want, like, because most of the time if you're using like a like on your computer like a video player, if you use like that things like screenshot out, like whatever, like it's screenshot button, it'll take them without the subtitles, which is nice if you just want to get a screenshot of whatever and you don't want the subtitles there. So if you download hard subs, you can't ever get screenshots without the subs there. They'll just like always be there. So it just goes on to whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest issue for like people like Craftsdwarf and stuff is just the fact that like if he potentially wanted to use that footage in a video, for example, he can't take the subtitles off, and videos with anime subs on them look bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, before I did mention that earlier, but I thought about it, and or the first thing I thought about was just because I do my media thread and I include like I like taking screenshots sometimes, and it's like I remember with Major Season 2 in particular, when I put that on my thread, it was pretty fucking hard to find a good screenshot that didn't have, because Major Season 1 and 2 are hard subbed for some reason. So it's literally just a shot of Goro's eye, the main character, because I literally couldn't find anything else that that character wasn't talking over that I thought was good. So, but now Season 3, I can actually, it's soft sub, so I can actually turn off the subtitles. Uh, Oh no, as the hard subs, there's no issue with hard subs if you're just gonna watch the show. If you're not gonna share screen caps, if you're not gonna make videos on it, there's nothing wrong with hard subs. It's just like for me specifically, being someone who makes video essays and someone who is doing a Twitter thread where I share screen caps of things that I watch. I just if I had the option, and I do have the option with Digimon, I can find soft sub versions. They're just not going to be like this perfect ideal torrent that has like the best quality and of subtitles and visuals probably. So I basically have to choose less good versions to fit my needs is my issue. Well, because like, and you say, that's, and of course I might just watch Digimon, like because I am like mostly for the video I would be recording footage of the games, but what I'm trying to keep in mind with my longer projects like Shin Megami Tensei, for example, is like I just finished Last Bobo 3 and it's my favorite game so far. If I legitimately thought it was interesting enough to do a whole video on, I would, because I literally have the footage from the entire game. Mostly so I could talk about my favorite character, but in this case I don't like. I do think a lot of his ideas and stuff and its story is good. It's just Naruto. It's just Naruto, but less good. Like, literally a lot of the same ideas are touched on with differently for sure. But it's just if I made a video about its conflict, it would just be like, it's basically just Naruto, but not really. So yeah, with Digimon, it's like, because yeah, if I'm going through the whole franchise for my Pokemon video, like through playing the games, I might find some that I think are interesting enough to want to talk about, or like, wow, this season of Digimon is really good, and people don't talk about it enough. Maybe I'll make a video on it, right? Like, just that's something that's. I kind of just since getting into YouTube, I've kind of always had like that's the reason I take notes on everything, because every time I go through something, there's this thought of like, what if this can be a video, right?
Success.
So you're right. You're right. That's literally, like, you said that as a joke, but that's just factual. Like it's a curse. So yeah, it's just something I have in mind. So most people should absolutely use that torrent. but the 2D samurai one. But you know, I'm hoping to wait until a better one for my needs comes out. So yeah. And it does happen because I remember for like my turn for One Piece right now is the anime time one, which it doesn't include all of the extra content, but it does have it has up to like episode 1071 plus, but it also has the earlier episodes in like for it has like the original aspect ratio for the older episodes, which is huge because I could see there's probably releases of One Piece that just have all the episodes, and then they have like the earlier episodes like cropped to fit the 720 dimensions, even if they're so yeah, that's just really nice. And I've just been adding the what's it called? Like so because I've been keeping up with their releases of like the Egghead episodes, and I just made a new folder for the I've just been adding so I've just been continuing, so I have the same main torrent folder, but I've been adding the new episodes as they come out, so that eventually when I catch up, like I'll already have everything ready. So yeah.
Teehee.
He hates me.
What?
uh, um. I guess I mean I already talked about it a bit on the Nen show, or I will rather, but I am fully caught up to Boruto. Yeah, because I finished the Naruto Next Generations Boruto for that. I finished that and discussed that on the Nen show, and then I have also since read the 7 chapters of Two Blue Vortex that are out. I think I'm still the only one who's caught up to. Am I the only one who's caught up to the manga?
Yeah, I haven't finished.
Okay.
I haven't even finished part 1. So
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to say, it ends off. Part 1 ends off on a really fucking bonkers twist. If you guys haven't been spoiled on it,
I
great,
already know
because
about
it honestly, I guess how I put it is like it basically makes me better understand everything Boruto's been doing so far and puts it in a really interesting situation for going forward. And it hasn't had anything major happen yet. I guess what the one major thing in that introducing a new antagonist of sorts. But yeah, I'm still very curious to see what happens with Boruto, and it's neat to finally be caught up on the manga after so long. So yeah.
yeah, Boruto's just waiting on my Naruto reread, so that's
Yeah,
why.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
I have no idea. I don't read manga, so I can't tell you.
Hateful.
It is what it is. It's just One Piece at this point in my life, sadly. I would like to read more, but
I mean, I'm still trucking on through with Fist of the North Star, so
Mhm. Oh, I guess I'm also reading Seven Seeds right now because one of the things I was hoping to do this year is read more shoujo and josei manga, and this is one that I actually got into it back in 2012, and from 2012 to 2016 I read like 29 volumes of it, and then it stopped being, or it wasn't being translated consistently, and I'm pretty sure 2016 is when I put down a lot of manga I was reading because of Billy Bat, and it made me think that keeping up with manga for a long period of time was stupid, and I don't agree with that anymore. But I have been reading. I'm like almost a third of the way through Seven Seeds. It's a post-apocalypse manga. Basically, the planet was doomed, so they froze a bunch of people to send them into the future functionally, and so it's about them, coming out into the future and having to rebuild society basically, and it's really neat. And there's one arc in particular that focuses on one of the groups, because they're all named after the seasons. And one of the groups, the Summer A group, the only one with 2 groups, they basically were trained basically is from birth at a sort of special school for survival things, and specifically to be sent to the future. The final test is to survive, and it's absolutely fucking brutal. And it was one of the things that stuck with me the most from the first time I read the manga, and rereading it. Like I posted some images in the server because it still was insane. Like I couldn't put it down. It was still really fucking good. But yeah, Seven Seeds is a cool manga, and I'm really excited to finish it. And presumably still like it because it's been I literally it's been 12 years since I started it, and it's nice to finally be like, yeah, I'm done with it at long last. So yeah.
yeah, I've thought about reading Seven Seeds at some point, but
Did you hear about it because of Netflix or?
No, I've heard about it from a YouTuber called. I mean, her name is Colleen. I think her
Oh, I know.
channel's
I
Colleen
know.
Manga
Yeah,
Rex.
I'm familiar with her. I haven't watched any of her videos, but I know of her because she talks about shoujo and josei manga.
Yeah,
So,
and that's one of her favorites that she's mentioned
ooh,
before.
okay,
So
that's cool. Nice. I think actually like because for I have my list. I have a list. I forget where I got all of them, but I know some of them were there was because there was a meme I guess of like born to shoujo, forced to shonen or stuff like that. And I forget if she was commenting on it or if she. But I just remember there was like there was a tweet with 4 series, and I was familiar with one of them because it was a Clamp manga that I already read. But I did note down the other 3 because I had not read them. And one of them, Legend of Basara, is actually written by the same author as Seven Seeds. But yeah, I'm
Mhm.
familiar with her. I just haven't watched her videos. So, but yeah, and I guess to read off my list of shoujo manga I'm curious about reading: Legend of Basara, Limit, Queen's Quality, Lovely Complex. Orange I've already read, but except that the last volume because it's released separately as Orange Future, and so I want to reread it and read the final volume. Nana, Kodomo no Omocha, Children of the Whales, Glass Mask, Mars, My Little Monster, Aim for the Ace, and Cipher on top of Seven Seeds. So yeah, that's my reading list for shoujo, um, and stuff. I see. I don't know. What's weird for shoujo specifically, I kind of like just because like I think Seven Seeds was it started in a shoujo magazine and moved to a josei magazine, I believe. They just seem to switch magazines a lot, so I tend not to focus so hugely on like where they were published. Where I feel like with shonen, I just keep a bit more attention to it because I feel like it happens less. I don't know. So I just wanted to bring that up because I say shoujo manga, but I kind of mean them both generally because I feel like they're they switch magazines a lot. So not necessarily between shoujo and josei, but just in like Kageki Shoujo started as a shoujo manga, I think, but is now running in a seinen magazine. Even though again, it's like there's functionally no change. Like it's still the same manga that it was from the start. So I don't really feel weird about calling it a shoujo manga, even though most of it was not published in a shoujo magazine at all. So I don't know.
Mhm.
Are we about to wrap this up or?
Yeah, I don't mind wrapping up soon.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine with me. Sorry, I just yeah.
Okay. So next week, do you guys want to play Left 4 Dead, or do you guys want to have a guest? Because I could reach out to someone and try and work that out.
I could be down for a guest.
Okay. I will. How do you feel then?
I was down the game, but I mean, we can do a guest if you both
Oh,
want
we'll see
to.
how schedules work out. So, because I just need to think about who to reach out to and see if it can work. So, yeah, we'll talk about that, and you guys will find out next week if we game. That means I couldn't get a guest. So, all right. Thank you guys for hanging out. Was good talking.